Hey guys, I'm Brent Rose, writer and penitent pilot, and today I'm here for one of my least favorite reasons, to issue a retraction, hence the beard of contrition. In my last Wired video, we pitted the GoPro Karma against the DJI Mavic Pro, and we leaned toward favoring the Karma because, frankly, the image quality was just so much better. In fact, we said that the image quality on the Mavic sucked. Image quality compared to the Karma really sucks. As it turns out, that's not exactly the case. The DJI Mavic Pro has a brand new feature for any DJI drone. Essentially, if you want something to be in focus, you have to tap on it on the screen and it'll then pop into focus. And if you do that, it will indeed produce sharp results on the thing you're focusing on. Let's take a look at some updated footage versus the GoPro Karma. So first we have the GoPro Karma. It's a very wide, about 165-degree field of view, nicely exposed. We've got the Mavic Pro here. Now I tapped on that dog-shaped rock in the front. It looks pretty sharp, but it's like a toy in the background. GoPro Karma here, a nice sunset. You can see some detail in the plants below. Good landscape. Mavic Pro looks pretty sharp. The colors are good, but it's much darker in the foreground. The plants, the dynamic range just really isn't quite there. Here we've got this landscape. You can see the Karma is a little bit off skew. The gimbal's a little bit off. And then we go to the Mavic, and it's a little bit off in the other direction. In the Mavic, I'm focused on the van in front there. Beautiful van in front. It's looking pretty sharp, but again, it kind of has a tilt shift effect with everything else in the background. Here we go, Karma again. This is just, I turned it around so it's the same shot, so the gimbal was still a little bit off there. And then here we have the Mavic, and the gimbal's off here too. Yeah, I'm focused on the mountains in the background. Everything else in the foreground looks kind of like a toy. So obviously the camera on the Mavic does not in fact suck. That said, there are some caveats. The depth of field on the Mavic's camera is very shallow, so if you want a big landscape shot where everything's in focus, you're just not going to get it with that. It seems to me that you shouldn't have to tap to focus in order to get something in focus. All the other DJI drones default to autofocus, and it seems like that should be the default here. And then you can choose to pick a point of focus if you like. Also, autofocus is extremely slow. 1,000, 2, 1,000. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6. And in the video, you can see it bouncing in and out of focus while it's struggling to find it. Not ideal. Further, it's a very narrow field of view. Personally, I still prefer the GoPro's wider field of view since I'm mostly shooting landscapes, and I think it's a more inclusive shot. Also, the GoPro camera has a wider dynamic range and it does better with color and auto adjustments. That said, it's close and it's going to come down to personal preference. And because the biggest ding we had against the Mavic was its camera quality, we are now finding in favor of the Mavic in this particular drone contest. It's just so much lighter and more compact than the Karma. You get a lot more flying time and a lot more range. Plus, there are better smart features and there's obstacle avoidance. We think it's a really great drone. That said, a lot of the points we made in the original video stand about the Mavic. It's really just not that intuitive to use, especially for beginners. In fact, the reason that I and a lot of other reviewers failed to know about the mandatory tap to focus is that DJI doesn't do a very good job of telling you that it's something you need to do. It's not in the quick start guide, it's not in any of the pop-ups on the screen. In fact, the only mention of it is on page 42 of the user manual, and even that doesn't really go into detail. So intuitiveness leaves a lot to be desired. And for that reason, we still think the Karma is going to draw a lot of beginners just because the interface is so user-friendly. One other issue we kept seeing in the comments was talking about the Karma's drifting issues. And again, I didn't find that to be a problem as long as GPS was locked on tight. Both remotes are there on the ground. See them both there. Let's see. It's reasonably like about 15-mile-an-hour winds right now. Both drones are rising and falling a bit. They're more or less staying where they're supposed to be. All that being said, we now think the DJI Mavic Pro is the better drone for most people. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.